The Prabhupada Connection. Memories 87, George Harrison and Syama Sundar Prabhu. A story about George and Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhus. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Bhakta George Harrison, who is very dear to his divine grace. I would like to share a story about their connection on one occasion in London. I was traveling with Srila Prabhupada as well as Syama Sundar Das and Pradyumna Das in 1972. I have a poor memory for dates. I believe this was the year. Syama Sundar was instrumental in connecting George with Srila Prabhupada and our movement and had a lot of association with him. They were close friends. I was in the secretary's office, which was more like a large closet off of Prabhupada's quarters, typing letters, when a head popped in the door, and in a very British accent, someone said, "Hello, is Syama Sundar here?" I looked over and said that he was out and would be back later. I went back to my typing and then did a double take, as it was George. I got up and went over to him and said that I would tell Prabhupada that he was here. He said, very humbly, No, I don't want to bother him." I assured him that it would not be a bother, and I went into Prabhupada's room to tell him that he was there. Prabhupada immediately said, "Oh, have him come in." I went back out and told George that he wanted to see him. He was removing his socks and looked over at me and said, "I get so nervous when I am around his divine grace." I told him that I felt the same way. He had just shaved his beard and cut his hair back to a Beatles style, and he said, "I just got my hair cut to see Prabhupada." He was so humble and unassuming. It was like being around a great devotee. It was being around a great devotee. He went into the room and closed the door. I could not stay outside. I had to go in and see the exchange. I opened the door, and George was doing full dandavats and offering both prayers to Prabhupada with perfect pronunciation. Prabhupada had an ear-to-ear smile. George got up and sat back by the door. Prabhupada said, come in, and George edged forward towards Prabhupada's desk, very shy and respectful. Prabhupada said no, here, and patted the asana he was sitting on. George came around his desk to the edge of his asana, and Prabhupada reached out and pulled him into his chest, hugging him, laughing, messing up his hair, and saying, "It is so good to see you. How is Patty?" They had a wonderful conversation, where at one point George asked him if he should move into the temple and shave his head. I believe he would have if Prabhupada had said yes. But Prabhupada said emphatically no. You have a great gift for the world in your music. Just continue your music and Krishna will be greatly pleased and he will bless you. Then he said, I will give you some ideas for your songs, and he got up Srila Bhaktivinoda's songbook and went over a number of the songs, reciting the translations for George. It was soon after this that he wrote My Sweet Lord. George came daily for a week, along with Ravi Shankar, to have Prabhupada's darshan in the afternoon. Ravi Shankar is a Bengali, so he and Prabhupada talked and laughed together as Bengalis. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's remnants were always a transcendental treasure for all the devotees, and I was blessed to be able to distribute them after his meals. During this week, when I would take the plates away, many of the temple Matajas would crowd around, asking could I have some of George's remnants, please. I have remembered this story so many times over the years, with joy and great respect for Bhakta George. He is truly a humble devotee and a great man. I am currently living on Maui, where George had a home, and the stories from the local people are all good. He spread goodness wherever he went. I am greatly honored to have met him on that occasion, and I send him my love. There is no doubt in my mind about where he is now. I hope to see him again. Offered to the Vaishnavas with love and respect. Your servant, Nanda Kumar Das.